Ashley, I'm really excited to be here. We're with Ashley Tipton of Project Runway. She went season 14, right?
Yes.
So excited to have you because I've followed you, of course, on the show.
Thank you.
And now we have kind of like a bond. I feel like we're sisters in simplicity. And with your new pattern collection, I knew immediately that I wanted to talk to you and kind of find out more about you and where you want to go now that you are into this whole DIY world.
Yes.
So,
thank you.
We started SEWSEW DEF Magazine because we wanted to provide a multicultural platform for makers of all, walks of life to get seen and noticed and to be able to show their work, and also to really bring to light something for the millennials, for the younger generation, to see that sewing is cool. It's not like old, and Project Runway did a really good job of that, but it's more about fashion and not so much about the sewing, right? And so I think we've had a really good opportunity to show everybody that sewing is a lot cooler than it used to be, and that you have a lot more options with your career now. If you want to be a fashion designer or if you want to do anything in the fashion industry, you can kind of carve that out for yourself,
Very true.
So one of the things we like to learn at SEWSEW DEF is why people like to sew. Like, what is your sew story?
Well, it all started when I was younger. My grandmother from my father's side used to take care of me all the time, and growing up being dyslexic and not knowing how to read and write, I had a lot of struggles, and so I didn't enjoy going to school or learning things. And while my grandma used to take care of me, she would teach me all these new crafts, and going to her house every weekend, I was so excited because I knew that we were going to be working on a new craft project.
Nice.
Where it's just painting or making window ornaments or Christmas ornaments, all kinds of stuff. And I remember when I was 7, we picked up how to hand stitch. And so I would be stitching like little pillows or little clothes for my Barbies, and then she started teaching me how to crochet and all these different things. And then once I got older, she started putting me on a sewing machine, and that's just how I started sewing. That's great. I would ask her for tricks and like how to do certain things, and the way my grandma explained things to me, she was just so patient and so kind to me that it was just something that I absolutely loved to do, and it was something that I can express myself. And I didn't really have to choose my words when designing something. I can just go with it, and it was something that was independent, and I finally felt free.
Growing up, was that something you always did? Like in high school, did you like make your clothes? Did you, what was that like for you?
I picked it up as a young kid, but then once I started getting older, I grew more of an interest in beauty.
Oh, okay.
And growing up being a plus size person, I didn't think I had fashion. There's not the fashion options out there, and I felt the only thing that I had creativity with would be my hair and makeup. So I started dyeing my hair different colors and things like that, and experimenting with my makeup. And then once I got my first job, I started making my own money and finally buying the clothes that I wanted to wear and expressing myself through that way. And I was in arts throughout high school, and I loved drawing. I didn't know if I wanted to be a graphic designer or a painter or a sculptor. There was just so many ideas, and I just loved being in art. And I remember my senior year, I had to declare a major, and fashion design was one of those majors, and I was like, cosmetology isn't on there, so it's not an option.
Got it.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with fashion design. And I was like, I do know a little bit about sewing. This shouldn't be so hard. I love to sketch. So I decided to create a 6-look collection using all my friends.
Oh,
and
nice.
They were all different, or all my friends as models, and they were all different shapes and sizes and heights. And I just started designing stuff and buying, simplicity patterns and macabre patterns, and just trying to manipulate these patterns into what my vision was.
Right.
And I ended up creating this collection and debuting it in high school at our senior exhibition, and it was just a really, really proud moment that had a vision, and I took that vision from the paper to real life,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved that feeling, and I was like, this is what I want to feel every time
Nice.
I do something or design something. Like, I want this to be my career.
Mm-hmm. So then, what prompted Project Runway? Was that something that you watched all the time? Was it something like, I have to be on that show? If I had a nickel for every time somebody told me, Mimi, you should go on Project Runway, and I'm like, no, not for me. But when did that kind of pop into Ashley's head?
I had watched Project Runway here and there and was a fan of the show, and you know, me and my dad loved to watch it. I think my dad liked to watch it more because of Heidi Klum, but just seeing how creative those individuals are and how they can think so quickly. And for some reason, me and my dad are like problem solvers, like, you know, we MacGyver stuff, and we love it. So by us watching it, it was just really interesting to see how other people think so quickly. And so he was like, you should do that show. And I'm like, no, Dad, I don't have what it takes. He was like, you should get on Shark Tank, or you should like do this show. And so like, by the time I auditioned for Project Runway, I had already auditioned for like 3 other shows in the past. And I was like, I don't think I'm TV ready. I'm just someone who really wants to design. I'm not into the TV drama. I just want to design. Mm-hmm. But I also want to put what I do out there so that people know about it. Because in the plus size industry, I felt like I had made a name for myself as an indie designer. And I just felt like if somebody was to see what I was doing, they would want to get behind it.
Right.
And allow this thing to become bigger. And right before I applied for Project Runway, I had my own clothing store online, and I was producing everything that someone would order.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so it was real intense. I was in my sister's garage sewing every order. I had my cousin helping me cut all the pattern pieces, and it was just insane. I was so exhausted. And during that time, my grandmother was very, very sick, and she ended up passing away. And 2 days after her passing away, I received an email from Project Runway saying that the applications are now open to apply. And I was telling my cousin Arlene, I was like, oh, I just got this email from Project Runway. I don't know if I should do it. Like, my grandma just died. Like, I don't know if this is the right timing for me. And she was like, I'll help you apply. You got to do it. Do it for your grandma. And I'm like, I know, I should. You know, I have nothing else to lose. And so I auditioned, and she helped me fill out all the paperwork because I couldn't write and spell things correctly. So she helped me with everything, and we did the audition tape, and we sent it out, and the next thing you know, I'm being called back for interviews.
That's amazing.
And I was like, I can't believe that I'm going to be on this show.
Right.
And it wasn't, I don't think I was really ready for it. Like, I psyched myself out so much in the beginning. Like, it's scary and intense.
Yeah. Every time that I speak to somebody about their sew story, I always find little bits of my life in everybody, right? And I think we all kind of have those moments, you know, hand sewing Barbie clothes and being in a place where you don't necessarily think you're, you know, comfortable enough to do something, or afraid of, you know, doing something that's outside of the norm. And I would tell people when they would say, oh, you should go on Project Runway, and I said, no. I said, I would never go on Project Runway as a contestant. First of all, they would just be too afraid. I said, but I would absolutely go as a judge or a mentor or something. And so last year I got a call, and they said, Project Runway Junior wants you to come be a mentor on the show. And I was like, oh my God.
How exciting.
You know? And so for me, that was a full circle moment. And I was like, okay, this was really cool. But I got to see what that set was like.
How was that? I think me and you are the only people in this room that can share that experience.
It's intense. And they were children. And I was like, you know, they were like, you have, you know, this many hours to get it done, like, go. And they were like sketching and trying to, you know, put ideas together. And it's like, design is such a personal thing. Yeah. So when you ask me to collaborate with somebody else on something, and I'm like, you know, trying to figure out your vision and making sure that it's what you want, I have to compromise that. I was so impressed with those kids.
And plus the cameras on
The cameras are on there.
The
I was
lights,
terrified.
there's so many
Listen,
people.
that was my TV debut, let me tell you. I was terrified.
Oh.
Because it's not like I was just on there. They're like, no, you're presenting with Tim. And I'm like, oh my God. What do you mean? I have to stand next to Tim
And then
Gunn?
when you talk to Tim, and then when he gets on camera, it's like two different people.
Yeah.
He knows what to say, and you're like,
And I was like,
how do you do this?
Yeah,
it just like
intense.
flows out.
Yeah, and so the day before, I had to meet with the kids to talk about patterns.
Yeah.
I was nervous because I was like, teenagers, they can be a little, you like trying to connect. I'm
No,
like,
but these kids are different.
Amazing. And so I walked into this room and they were all sitting at this table.
They're so hungry.
And they were like,
want it.
teach them what a pattern is. And I was like, okay. So I took my patterns out and I started to, and the kids looked and they were like, wait a minute, do you have a YouTube channel? And I'm like, yeah. And they were like, oh, we follow you. And I was like, oh my God.
Cute.
Totally amazing. But I was so impressed. It's a lot of hard work to do that show and to have to do it day in and day out.
Yes.
I can't imagine. Like, did you find moments where you were like, what do I design? What do I do? Like,
That was every challenge.
Wow.
Every challenge. Like, it was the first challenge when we finally got to witness how we're going to be living our lives for the next 6 weeks. And we're like, oh God, how are we going to do this? How do people come up with ideas? Because what the viewers don't know is that we're isolated. Mm-hmm. We don't have music. We don't have internet. The pictures that are on the walls are paintings.
Yeah.
There's no fashion that we see besides being in the van and being driven to our apartment, to set, to mood. Mm-hmm. So every time I was in the car and we had a challenge, best believe I was staring outside to see what everybody was wearing.
Get some kind of inspiration.
Just to get some type of inspiration, because when you're given a challenge, the challenge isn't supposed to inspire you. The challenge is to challenge you.
Right.
Like, you need to figure out how you're still going to be this designer that you are with this style, and combine the challenge that is given to you and still allow your point of view as a designer still shine through that design. So it is so complicated, and I wish I knew that that's what it was before going in there. But I mean, everything happens for a reason, and thank God I won. Thank God I won. Yes. But just going through that whole experience, I'm so glad I did it, because when they asked me, why do you want to be on Project Runway? I was like, because I want to see how far I can push myself. I don't think there's going to be anything in life that will challenge me this hard. And I was like, I want to do it. I just want to see how much I can push myself and how much I want to be in this industry, because everyone around me will hear, I want to be a designer, I want to be a designer. And slowly, slowly in time, I wasn't excited to say I was a designer anymore, because who isn't a designer anymore?
Right.
And it's like, I wanted people to know that I know how to sew. I've been doing this for a long time. Like, I want to fight for that name. And just going on the show and being put through all these things and all these challenges and trying to pull every creative idea that I had, and oh my gosh, it was just so exhausting.
And then do it with a plus size point of view.
Yeah. Coming back home and being told that Project Runway would support me in any way that I needed to be supported to make a plus size collection was everything to me. I was like, if I don't win, I'm okay, because Project Runway is allowing me to do this. They trust me. And with that, I was just like, that's my motivation to do this line and to succeed and to show a line that speaks for all plus size women and what we want in this community and how we want to present ourselves in this community.
So in that realm, so I find I think it's insane how society labels women in general.
Yes.
Right. And sometimes, so recently, I'll tell you a story. Recently, I posted a picture of myself. It was a Flashback Friday picture. And, 100 and something comments. And a good half of them were like, oh, you've lost so much weight. oh, you should don't lose any more weight. Or sometimes I'll post something like, wow, you've gained weight. And I'm like, what gives people the comfortability to have to comment on your weight? Like, what difference does that make? It's nothing to do with sewing. It's nothing to do with what
No.
And so when I think about fashion, I just think about fashion. I don't think about fashion for plus size women or fashion for the non plus size women. It's just fashion.
It sucks that is how society is. Like, that is how people are. And I knew that going into the show that, excuse me, this wasn't going to be easy.
Right.
That I'm also going to be pointed as the plus size woman who is not your plus size, average size. I'm beyond what your plus size model looks like. And so I just knew going on the show that I had to...
Which looks like a regular size
person. Yes.
Right.
So it's really hard that is what we have to call that, or that's what this industry wants us to call. But going on the show, I knew that I had to present myself in a way that nobody had any excuse to call me out because of my size. I was like, you're going to see me for my performance and my creativity and not for the size that I am and what I'm wearing.
Right.
So
I think you did that.
Thank you.
I think you did that beautifully.
Thank you.
And your designs and your collection was just, it made me happy to look at it. You know, like when I look at Ashley Nell Tipton clothing, I'm like, it's so happy. You know, and I think that's really beautiful for somebody to be able to get dressed and feel amazing and not feel like, oh, I can't wear this because it's too bright, or I can't wear this because it's too whatever.
I think us women or men and everyone, we've worn enough dark clothes to try to hide our bodies, or we've been told that black is slimming.
Right.
Yeah, that's great, but there's so many other colors that complement someone's skin tone, and we don't always have to hide our bodies. You know, we want to wear what we want to wear. We want to be able to express ourselves. We want to be creative with our styles. We want to be able to test new things out, and we should be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on a little bit into the DIY world, because that's my comfort zone, right?
Yes.
So in 2010, I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer, and I put a collection together. I took it to Runway. I had an amazing moment doing the walk, you know, at the end, and I felt very accomplished. And I was like, oh, I hated the entire experience. I like the creative part of it. I like teaching other people, and that's kind of when I realized, oh, I want to teach people how to sew. I don't think I necessarily want to be a fashion designer. And so I found sort of my niche in the DIY community. So for me, in that world, we sew because of our bodies. So that we don't have to rely on store-bought clothing that is not going to fit the way that we want. And so in the DIY world, you don't see a lot of the things that you see in the fashion world. Right? We kind of are just accepting of everything, that that this is why you sew, because you want to create specifically for you, for your body, for what you love to do.
Yes.
So now that you have your first collection with Simplicity, congratulations. By the way. What does that feel like to you? Like, people want to sew?
Right? When they first introduced the idea of me designing patterns for Simplicity Patterns, I was kind of caught off guard. I was like, wait, what? I can design patterns too?
Right.
And it was just it was interesting. I felt like it was almost like a full circle, because those were the patterns that I used to first sew, and I was like, this is so awesome. Like, I can actually have a design that's in this catalog. And so I just started thinking of a bunch of things. I was like, what would plus size women want to be able to design for themselves and be able to take this home and just, I don't know, like open up a can of worms, because you're like, there's so many things that I can do. Like, I want it to be an endless creativity going on for them. So that's why I decided to create a bodysuit and a bodycon dress, because I felt like women are always trying to find the perfect bodycon dress, and why not create something where they can go at home and alter it and fix it the way that they want it, or pick the fabrics that they want for it. And also the bodysuit, where you can create so many different bodysuits, and or even create your own bathing suit with it. So I just felt like those were the two fun things that I want to see for spring.
Nice. So have you noticed, or did you learn kind of when doing your Simplicity pattern collection, that there was this whole other world? Because you've kind of been in this fashion bubble, right?
That's
and
right.
So did you kind of like see, oh, wait a minute, there's like this whole other community of people that do stuff. You know, how did that come about for you?
I mean, example, seeing you and seeing your YouTube channel and your Instagram, and just seeing how much of another audience is out there and how much it's youthful and it's all ages and everybody wants it. Like, they're hungry for it. And it's not a competition anymore. It's so welcoming, and that's what I love to see. Because I feel like anything that I'll design with Simplicity, somebody wants, and they're so thankful for it.
Yeah. So do you see yourself doing more in that world?
Definitely, I do. I mean, we're working on the fall line right now.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what else
I already
design
saw
with
it.
them. You did? Okay.
Because I was in New York.
Oh, that's right.
When I was in Simplicity, so I got to see it. So
That mesh dress.
girl, let me tell you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I love. So thank you for doing this, because I think it's really great to have fresh faces and, you know, new exciting things that happen in the sewing community, you know, because we have so many people who love to do this, who are literally obsessed about all things sewing. And, you know, to have something that's fresh and new and bright and colorful is really exciting. And so I'm thrilled to see where this is going to take you, because, you know, I'm sure you have other things in the works you might want to share what if you're, you know, have other things going on. Like, what's your plan? Where's Ashley going?
Ashley is constantly growing and finding new things to do and design, and we are collaborating with a jewelry manufacturer. And we are creating jewelry that have a wider size range. So more of I want to say plus size, but it's more of just a wide range sizes of jewelry. So jewelry that is wider in the neck and the wrist, or in the
proportioned.
Yes, well proportioned.
Yeah.
Because I've always struggled with finding jewelry that fits me, and when someone approached me about this opportunity, I was like, yes, I will take it.
That's
I think
great.
that we need jewelry, more wider ranges.
Nice.
And that's what we have right now, and working with doing my own line and wanting to cross over and do men's plus size clothing. So
that's exciting.
That is in my to-do list of things that I want to accomplish by the end of the year.
Great. And then doing more videos and stuff with you.
Yes. Because I know how much they love me, and I want to do it. Like, I want to be able to share. I wish I could be there at home with each and every one of them. But I think doing videos will definitely you've definitely inspired me to want to do more sewing videos.
Good. I'm excited because, you know, I've been able to, I've done okay in this industry, you know, and so I want to give people that roadmap. This is what I did. It may work for you, it may not work for you, but this is how I think, you know, you can make, you know, a splash in whatever it is that you're trying to do. You know, you should absolutely come to the conference in June.
Yes.
You should. I mean, if you can do it, you should come. It's mind-blowing, and you'll have a great time, and you'll kind of see how that engagement, that following is like hardcore, and when they get behind you, and we're super supportive. So we're excited to have you in our little community.
Yay, thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Peace, guys.